I was just doing some scanning through just like Insta stories and just doing, I don't know, you could just kind of get sucked into that. I'm just gonna let the dog out. This dog's starting me absolutely up the wall. Like, dude. Babe, can you calm the dog down? He's inside there like whining away. Yeah. Go see your daddy. He'll get you a treat. Come here. Does anybody else have a dog that like wants to be right up your butt, but then he like whines and whines and whines? Oh, mine does. Okay. I was scrolling through Insta. It was so funny because I was watching an Instagram story from a influencer and leader in Beachbody, and she was talking about how she was jumping on a call tonight with her team and was talking about, literally, it was so funny because she's like, I'm talking about sales tonight, and she's like, newsflash, what we do in network marketing isn't sales. And I was like, huh, interesting. I'm jumping on a call tonight to talk about the total opposite. So we're talking about sales tonight, and it's really funny because you guys are going to hear this from all places that, and I've said that, I've even caught myself in this from time to time, saying things like, oh, well, what we do isn't really sales. Like, don't get caught up in the fact that you have to sell in this business. People will say to me often, oh, I'm such a bad salesperson, I'm not going to make it. And the truth of the matter is that you don't have to sell in doTERRA. You really don't. But it is a skill that if you do slowly but surely over time work on, it is going to benefit your business. Okay, so if this is something that, and we're gonna kind of have some question and answer, so be prepared. You're welcome to unmute yourself and share. I'm gonna try and keep this to an hour, but if we go over a little bit, you'll have a recording you can come back to watch. All of this that I am gonna share with you guys is actually from Rachel Hollis's business coaching. So and Tessa, who's on my team, is on here. Tessa totally may have already watched this. But our March training with Rachel was actually on the topic of sales, and she kills this. Like, she's really good at the topic of sales. But it was so juicy that I said to the girls today, I have to share this with you guys because it is so good. So I'm going to be talking about sales, and I'm going to be talking about sales in a very candid and open way. And so if sales makes you uncomfortable, that is okay. Okay, I want you guys to totally be okay to recognize that you are uncomfortable selling. It was funny, even going into this training, I was like, sales, like, I hate sales. This is like so gross. But after listening to it and actually starting to put these things in action, which I'm going to walk you through, it's really helped my business. And this has only been in like a week. So when it comes to the topic of sales, I just want you guys to share with me in the chat box, what makes you uncomfortable? What is the thing about sales? When you think of sales, why is it so icky to you? All right, people feeling like all I want from them is their money. Totally. I feel like I'll ruin close relationships. Yeah, and you guys can keep piling them in here. Throw them all in here. No judgment zone at all. Even though I know these oils can help them, I still feel like I have to talk them into it. Totally. You feel like you're that icky salesman. You feel like you are doing something wrong. So I think a big thing for me, and I don't know if you guys have ever experienced this, but do you ever have a really epic salesperson? Like, you go into a store, and for instance, I went into Anthropologie this past week, and the girl in the dressing room, she was a salesperson through and through, but she did an absolutely epic job at getting to know me and really helping me to see things that would look good on them. And she really helped me to feel comfortable. And at the end of the day, did I probably spend an extra few $100s that I wouldn't have if it wasn't for the salesperson? 100%. Did I leave and be like, holy crap, she just sold me a bunch of shit in a very uncomfortable way? No, she sold me a bunch of stuff, but I didn't ever feel uncomfortable about it. Okay. So a lot of these things that we think are actually experiences that we've had in the past, right? We've all had that icky salesman at the car dealership, or that icky salesman at the store, or whatever it might be that just wanted to sell you stuff. So it's typically based off of past experiences. So recognize that, right? Just bring some light to that and recognize that it is these ideas you have from a past experience that is leading to this. So I'm going to teach you to sell, and I'm going to teach you to sell through and through in a very comfortable way. Okay. So we believe that there's three C's to sales. Number one is confidence. Number two is competence. And number three is consistency. So confidence, competence, and consistency. And one thing you're going to come to learn about me very quickly is one of my number one strengths is strategic. I'm a numbers person. So you guys it'll kind of come through as we continue talking. So number one is confidence. And I'm going to talk about confidence for probably the longest out of all the topics. But the first thing here and the key behind confidence is passion. Because you cannot do something and you cannot sell something if you don't believe in what you're selling. We understand that, right? Like we cannot sell a product that we don't believe in and we don't use. I was with a company called Arbonne for 2 years prior to starting my doTERRA business. There was like a 2-year gap there. And I was not passionate about the products. I didn't even use most of the products, to be very honest with you. And I couldn't sell them if my life depended on it. I could have the richest woman in the world in front of me, and I could not talk about the product and sell it. So at the end of the day, if you're not passionate about essential oils and natural health products, it is going to be very hard for you to sell something on them. I actually had a conversation with somebody a little while ago where she said to me, she goes, I really want to get in network marketing. And I was so excited. You ever have these moments where you're like, yeah, my first builder? Or I was like, oh, I haven't had a builder in a while. This is so great. I'm so excited. And we're talking and she's like, well, yeah, I don't know. I'm not really sure about the product. And I looked at her and I was like, friend, I'm very sorry, but you're going to have to go somewhere else. This company and this product isn't for you, and let's find you a product, and I would be more than happy to help you find a product that is for you. Okay. And that's okay. That is so okay to recognize. But having authentic passion for your product is vital to that product's success in growth and sales. So having authentic passion for your product is vital, an absolute vital piece to the puzzle. Building a business and selling a skill, talent, or physical item isn't an easy task. I'm just reading off a quote here. But passion and the personal relationship you create around the product is the driver that is going to get the product off the ground. The passion and the personal relationship that you have with this product is what's going to help you to sell it. Okay? So I'm going to ask you some questions, and I actually want you guys to jot these things down. And you can save space in your notebook and come back to this if you want, or if you're passionate about these things, it should come to you pretty quickly. But why do you believe in your product and service? Give me 3 reasons for each of these things that I'm going to talk about. But why do you believe in your product or service? All right. Why should a customer purchase your product or service? Awesome. So these are gonna be things for you to come back to. Like these are just, for me, it was such a great opportunity to kind of like, it's like this memory jogger. It's like this, oh, okay, like I'm a pretty epic person. I'm a pretty sweet person. I'm actually pretty good at this. And people should buy something from me for a reason, right? What can you offer these people? That's really, at the end of the day, what this is about. The second thing I want to talk about, so we're still on the topic of confidence, but I want to remind you that in business, confidence for most of you is going to come from knowledge. If you can ground yourself in knowledge and have an understanding of the product and some other things, which we'll talk about, you are going to have a very easy time coming up against objections and answering questions and selling people on the product. Am I saying you need to know everything about every oil and every product out there? Absolutely not. Because I still to this day have no clue what some of these oils do. You can ask me and I have no idea and I resort to my book. And that's fine. That is completely 100% okay. But, which we'll talk about in a little bit, you're going to want to have a thorough understanding of the products you're selling the most, okay? Which we will touch on. But I want you to have confidence in the product you're selling. So, question number 1, what are the 3 best features of your product? This can be, you can choose to focus, what's the product that you sell the most of? Maybe that's oils or the Home Essentials Kit. Specifically, what are the 3 best features? Does somebody want to unmute themselves and share? Just put your hand up and I'll just call on you.
I'll go.
Okay.
I sell a lot of Deep Blue cream, Easy Air oil, and On Guard oil. Those I would say top 3 products.
So what are the 3, if you were to think of the 3 best features of these products, what would those be?
They work. They work quickly.
Yeah.
They provide people with symptom relief.
Yeah. They're fast acting. So you have to, what you're going to take from this is that these 3 pieces, these 3 features are going to be a portion of your sales pitch. I am not going to sit here and help you create a sales pitch because every single one of you is going to have a very different sales pitch because we all sell very different things. We sell essential oils, 100%, but the products you're the most confident in selling, which I think we get to in here, I'm going to walk you through. The products that you're most confident in selling are going to be very different. So your sales pitch is going to be very different. The people you're pitching to is going to be very different. But these 3 features of your products that your best features are going to be the things that you're going to be very easy to talk about. In the US, Tesla's from Canada, and some of the blends have different names. Yeah, so sorry. Deep Blue, Easy Air is Breathe. Yeah. So we have some different names just because Health Canada is sticklers. Awesome. So we're just gonna kind of keep walking through this, and you're gonna kind of see how this comes together in a little bit. I know some of you are like, okay, cool, like this is awesome. What's this have to do with sales? What are the 3 criticisms of your product or service? So I don't want you guys to sit here and be like, well, like we always talk about not comparing ourselves to other companies and comparing ourselves to other people. I understand that, but when it comes to selling a product, if you have confidence and you are able to effectively answer questions, when people ask you questions about, for instance, somebody comes to you and says, what was my note here? It's too expensive, or I can buy it anywhere, or it's snake oil, right? We all hear these things. If you have an understanding of typical things people will ask of you in terms of criticisms, and you can give them a beautiful response, you're going to feel so much more confident. Any of you have ever had somebody say to you, it's snake oil, or it's too expensive, and you've given them a kick butt reply, and you're like so powerful, you're like, yeah, that was awesome, like I did such a good job. I want you to remember that the person saying these things to you is not always going to be a customer or a client of yours. They're not your people. However, the power that comes from giving somebody a beautiful reply, very elegant reply to answer these questions, is amazing. You feel a lot more confident in yourself. So I want you to look at the criticism, and then I want you to later on come back to that criticism and come up with a beautiful, elegant answer. So for instance, it's too expensive. In Canada, for us, we have a company called Sage, S-A-J-E, and it's a company it's a brick and mortar store in malls, and they sell beautiful essential oils. Their marketing is splendid. Everything about them is awesome. And we're going to come to this again. But their oils are heavily diluted. And so I tell people all the time, it's like, yeah, you're so used to spending money on that. And I give them a beautiful and elegant reply as to why doTERRA versus this company. And I always feel so strong and confident in what I do when I have that reply. Okay, you guys kind of see what I'm saying here? Okay. So I want you to have confidence in the industry as well. Okay, so we have confidence in our product. We're starting to formulate answers to questions. We're familiar with what our best parts about our product are. But I want you to now define who your competitors are. So if you're knowledgeable of your industry, you're knowledgeable of the other companies within your industry, what they do well, what they don't do well, how the product is different and similar. This is going to give you confidence in selling your product to your desired audience. So for instance, Young Living, right? They're a competitor of ours. Sage was one of mine. Another thing is competitors don't always have to be retailers. Competitors can be something as simple as somebody choosing not to use it. That's technically a competitor, right? A person says they don't want to use the product, right? That's what, like, we can't fight against that. So a competitor isn't necessarily a retailer or somebody selling it. It could be somebody saying, yeah, no, it's not something I need in my life. So I want you to write these out, and then I want you to take note. How are you better than this competitor? What do you do better than the competitor? Just give me 3 things. Don't have to give me the world. And even come back to this. And then how are they better than you? And I know this can be so easy to be like, well, they're not, right? Especially with, we'll just be very bold about Young Living, like, right? It's very difficult to say, well, how are they better than us? Maybe it's their marketing. Maybe it's the words they use. Maybe it's their packaging. For me with Sage, for instance, if you look up Sage online, they're beautiful. Like, they are beautiful. Their diffusers are stunning. So maybe that's something. Maybe a competitor for you is Amazon. And you're like, yeah, but they have all these beautiful diffusers. We don't have those. You guys kind of see where I'm going here? There's so many things that you could write down for this. And then what do they offer that you don't? So what do they offer that you don't? So this could be accessibility. Amazon is super accessible. Or this could be cheaper products. Or this could be, for instance, Young Living has a variety of other products that we don't have. That's okay. That is so okay. But the beauty of this is actually recognizing all of the ways that they're better than you, potentially, all the ways that you're better than them. And then what do they offer that you don't? Cool. Own it. Who cares? Right? Because there are a lot of different ways that you are a lot better than these people. But having this, not even people, sorry, these companies, but having this understanding is going to give you that confidence when these things come up, because they do. I get asked all the time about why Amazon, why not Amazon, or why not Young Living, or why not Sage? These questions come up. And if you can answer them in a way that is professional, right? And these are things that take practice, but bringing these things up and just recognizing these things can be asked without fear, right? Because now you know the top 3 ways or top 3 companies that are your competitors. And then you also know what they do better and you do better. So you can form answers in a beautiful way, okay? One thing that comes up a lot, and I don't know if this has come up for you guys, but I really just want to own this, is one thing that came up when I did this training a couple of days ago with another group, and something that came up is people said that one of the reasons that a lot of people don't want to purchase their products is because they're an MLM. I don't know if any of you ever heard this reasoning? Where people are like, oh, well, rather go to Amazon because doTERRA is an MLM and I don't support MLM. And I want to just, this is so absurd to me, but I really want to just let you guys know that if people dislike MLM and they're not willing to support you and they question the value of what you're doing, they're not your people. See ya, move on, okay? So I think the thing for me, and you'll notice this huge with me in sales, is that if someone doesn't like what I have to offer, if somebody they start questioning me and what I do, they're not my people. And I move on, and it is the most freeing feeling in the world. You are not going to serve everyone. You are not for everybody. Okay? People aren't going to like you, and that is okay. Okay? I remember the first time somebody said that to me, it was like it was like this breath of fresh air. Not supporting MLM is not supporting small business or working parents. Yes, Dana, 100%. Okay. How is your product affected by the current industry trends? How is your product affected by the current industry trends? If you haven't already got this yet, we should be dancing like the merriest of jigs, because we have a product that is so attractive right now to our market that you're crazy if you're not talking about it. Literally, guys, like we have a product that is right now at the epicenter of industry trends. Literally. People want to feel good. People want to look good. People want to have energy, right? People want to reduce the toxic load in their life. They want natural products and remedies. People want a product that we currently have. So we need to be really focusing on this, okay? Okay. A big portion of industry trends as well is going to be the lifestyle that you lead, right? A huge portion of a current trend is health and ditching toxic chemicals and using natural products. I want you guys showing people that lifestyle. Whether it's on social media or it's the life that you live, people are attracted, very attracted, and this is a huge sales tactic, to this lifestyle. Show me the lifestyle of what is trending in your industry, okay? Which is, you guys know all that, right? And essential oils literally are the biggest thing right now when it comes to industry trends. Okay. This one gets a little bit complicated, so stick with me for a second. I want you to have confidence in knowing your client. So this is a huge portion of sales, is knowing the person that you're selling to. How do you connect with them? How much do you know about them? How much do you know about their spending habits? How do you target their needs and make them feel valued? How do you make them feel valued as a supporter of your business? These are vital pieces of the puzzle. This here is another thing for me, and this is a big belief piece. If the market were to crash again, are people still going to buy your product or service? The question that was asked it said, is your product a luxury for customers or something that is negligible to her wallet? So is it something that is a luxury or something that they'll buy all the time? So if the market were to crash, will people continue to buy your product from you? If you believe yes, this is a huge belief piece. And for me, the lifestyle that I live and the way I lead my life, there's not a shadow of a doubt that oils would be the first purchase I'd make every month. Right? And for many of you, if this isn't the piece, I really believe that you need to dive into the Daily Health Habits Challenge. You really need to dive into that piece of the puzzle. If you answered no, and this product's a luxury for your customer, this is just vital to know. This is just something to know because this is going to be a piece of the puzzle that you're going to want to work on. This is going to be a piece when you start to sell to people, okay? But we want to analyze the customer a little bit. Needs versus wants, okay? This is great. I'm on a call. I have no idea.